Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RedFlex. It's been a week. It's been quite a week. So, I just wanted to talk about the aftermath of obviously Sunday's protest and why I'm probably not as happy as everyone else in regards to the protest. First, let me just get it straight that I am obviously Glazers out. I want them out of the club. You know, they've taken so much money, etc., etc. We all know the reasons why we hate the Glazers. I am fully support that. And in terms of the protest, which was the second that we attended, I am fully with the sentiment behind the protest, but I am not comfortable with the way it was executed. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why. So we went to the RedFlex, have been to both protests. We went to the one last Saturday and obviously this Sunday as well. The difference between the two protests was vast, not just because of the number of people that were there, which is obviously the second one had a lot more people there. It's just the atmosphere, the vibe in the second one was the only way I can describe it is intense. It was a lot more intense. There was a lot more anger, and in some cases, you could have thought it was quite intimidating. You know, the second one. So yeah, there was that. So I don't know whether the first one didn't have the hardcore fans or the match going fans or whatever. You know, there was a lot more people. A lot more people appeared to be drinking. But the thing is, I am not comfortable at all with the fact that the fans broke into Old Trafford. Now, I know there's a lot of rumours going around about, oh, they were let into Old Trafford. Nope. There's a video clearly going around social media which shows a couple of guys taking turns trying to kick a door down. I think it may have, some of it may have been glass or whatever. So there's a video of a guy. He runs up to it a few times, unable to break the door. Second guy comes, cheered on by an angry mob, hyped up by an angry mob, and he just kicks the door down, and everyone rushes in. And obviously, once you're in, if you're a security guard and there's maybe like 4 or 5 of you, and there's hundreds of people rushing in, you're gonna move out of the way. You're going to move out of the way. You're not getting paid enough to try and stop an angry drunken mob from making their way in. So this is the part I'm not comfortable with. Like I said, I am 100% behind the sentiment, behind getting the Glazers out, the anger, getting the Glazers out. But when it comes to breaking and entering, I don't stand with that at all. I'm not part of that. I don't want to be associated with that. It's just, I don't know whether it's just not something I do. It's not something that's part of me that I can go and say, oh yeah, we broke into. No, not for me at all. Breaking the law is not for me. Yes, make a scene, show that you're upset. By all means, let your flares off, shout, scream, chant, whatever. But when you come to breaking property, you have a problem. Now, the other issue is that a lot of people are saying, oh, the police were heavy handed and it was a peaceful protest until the police came. So, in the first one, there was a police presence, and by and large, they just stood and watched. It never got to a point. But if you're saying it was a peaceful protest until the police came, it was a peaceful protest until you broke the law and broke in. You damaged property, you kicked a door down and illegally entered a place. So, what did you expect the police to do? I mean, saying that, the police, I think, were very, very lenient. I mean, had there been different ethnicity of people breaking in, I don't think we would have seen people on the pitch for that long. They were allowed to roam around the pitch. They were throwing flares. They were breaking tripods and cameras and all sorts of stuff. Had it been a different ethnicity of people breaking into Old Trafford, I think we would have seen a different outcome. But that's a completely different story. But this is where I stand on it. I'm very happy that the Glazers have been given a warning. or they know of our displeasure, let's just say. But whether it's going to do anything long term, I have no idea, because there was they found Avram, I think Joel or Avram Glazer, obviously in America. Records are public and you can find someone's house quite easily. So obviously he was approached outside his house. He was asked some interesting questions, and then he just seemed as though he didn't care, wasn't bothered. Is this what's going to happen? We're going to probably get a couple of signings in the summer, big window coming up. Everyone's going to forget. Everyone's going to buy the merch. Everyone's going to buy the shirts. It's going to be pushed under the carpet. We did this at the start when the Glazers came in. We did it again in 2010, and then we forgot about it again. So is it going to do anything? I don't know. Yes, I'm glad that we're doing the protests, but this breaking and entering thing is just not for me. I just can't condone it at all. I'm just going to quickly go to the messages. Soon says, I felt the second one was more passionate, more desire to get the message across. As experience of working in stewarding, stewards would have been told to allow the public to move freely. Yeah, once they've broken in, there's no way. Once you've broken in, there's no steward. He's not going to risk himself to try and stop an angry mob of people coming in. 100%. I must disagree with your perspective entering the stadium, because that sent a bigger message to the club than being outside. Of course, there'll be a number of that will do stupid things. Yeah, but I can't get along with that. So just, if you're unhappy, so basically you're telling me if you're unhappy with something, all right, you've been mistreated or whatever, you're gonna break the law. This is not something that, so for example, someone slashed your tire, so you've gone and you've beaten them up with a cricket bat. So because they've done something bad against you, you went and broken the law. So it doesn't justify it for me. It doesn't. I just can't get my head around it. Like, protest, shout, scream, stop buying merchandise, stop going to the ground. Things like that are gonna have an impact. Yeah. So where are we now? We're a day before the Europa League semi-final. What have we got? The Glazers got interviewed. They showed they didn't care, and we missed out on watching a football match. Where are we right now? Like, where are we? I mean, the protests can continue. You think the next time they're going to let you break into Old Trafford? Nope. You're not going to break into Old Trafford. So what are you going to do now? You're going to just protest outside the ground now. And I think for some people, like, I don't really want to say it, but for some people, I think they were waiting for this. There is a minority of football fans which look for this. They have been missing out on this, weekends, like, let's go to the football, let's shout and scream, let's get drunk, let's break some stuff, is the kind of people that may be happy with this. But again, I can't get behind breaking the law, unfortunately. So getting on the pitch, breaking cameras, yeah. What did you show for yourself? Other than a couple of clips of someone doing some overhead kicks, scoring a goal at Old Trafford, kid climbing on the roof sort of thing. Yeah, that's nice, a little bit of imagery. But other than that, you just made yourself look stupid and probably got a lifetime ban from Man United as well. You have to understand it has resorted to this level, and even the reactions of the Glazers will just ignite the protest further. No, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have. It's not got to this point. Like, we are frustrated. The amount of money they've taken out, had that been invested in the club properly, we would be clear of City. Like, the amount of money that has been taken out of us and that has been pumped into City. I think I saw a stat today that the amount of money that's been taken out of Man United plus the amount of money that's been put into City, the difference between those two numbers is 3 billion. 3 billion pounds. Like, had that been invested correctly into Manchester United, we'd be Bayern Munich right now. We would be the Bayern Munich of English football. We'd be winning the league each and every year. Each and every year we'd be winning this league without fail. Now, yeah, I know the Glazers have pushed us to this point. Like, years of taking money out of the club, not having the right people in charge, underfunding all of the managers, not backing them, etc. Yeah, we're angry, we're pissed off, but when you're angry and you're pissed off, do you break the law? This is my thing. Like, I can't. That's the one thing I just don't get. That's the one thing I regret to seeing, because I felt very uncomfortable. Like those specific. I mean, being on the pitch. Had they just let us in and they were like, "Oh, you can chant on the pitch," that's fine. But me watching that video of the men lining up, taking turns to kick down the door at Old Trafford, made me very, very uncomfortable watching that. Like, I didn't watch that video and think, yeah, go on, lads. I found it very uncomfortable. Like, I don't know whether it's, I don't know. I don't know whether, which, is it a cultural thing that you can get behind acts of violence or property damage? Because that's not, it's not for me. It's not something that I agree with, and it's not something I've been brought up with, or to even show, I just can't get behind it. But anyway, talking about that, I'll quickly mention, seeing as though I'm live, we're going to talk about Roma. Roma against Man United, pretty much a foregone conclusion as far as I'm aware. If Manchester United lose 4-0, or whatever combination of result is required for them to get out of this competition, then I want to see that energy in protesting again against probably Solskjaer. Like, you would have to, if you've got that much energy and you've got that much passion for Man United. If Man United give away a 4-goal lead, then you surely have to be protesting for Ollie to be out. Like, I don't want Ollie to be out, but in this situation, if we were to lose this tie from this position, it'd be unforgivable. Like every other semi-final we've been in, it's been close or whatever, but this, if we were to lose this, you has to be Ollie out. You'd have to. Like, I don't want it, but you'd have to, and I'd want to see that passion. I don't want to see you lot outside Old Trafford with your Ollie out posters and your Glazer out posters. But I don't think it's going to happen, so that's fine. We're going to have a rotated squad, and I want to see a rotated squad. I want, if Donny van de Beek does not play, oh my God, if he does not play, there's going to be problems. In regards to Glazer's situation, the fans have no control. Only thing that can come from this is football reform on a wider scale. Yeah, I agree. Football reform on a wider scale, yes. But just Man United fans protesting and breaking into Old Trafford isn't going to achieve that. It has to be a concerted effort from all fans of football together. Like, I understand the teams that are involved in the European Super League have probably got more to protest about, but if you want to stop this happening in the future, then I think it's all football fans need to come together, because, like I've said it before, like Man United could have easily taken this deal because it benefited us greatly. £300 million a year, we'd be potentially buying players, or we're getting the glamorous fixtures every week. Eventually, it's going to lead to us leaving the Premier League, because who needs the Premier League when you're getting 300 mil just from being in that competition? But we all know the reasons behind that. But Manchester United were going to benefit. I think more of the issue is that because the Glazers were going to benefit and they didn't have any incentive to use all of that money to improve the squad is the problem. Had we been fan owned, let's be honest, if we were fan owned, if we were 50+1, and for whatever reason the fans agreed to the European Super League and all of the money we were going to get was going to be reinvested in the squad, would you have a problem with it? Knowing it's not going in anyone's pocket, it's benefiting Manchester United. £300 million for our team every single year, playing the best fixtures every single year, week in, week out. I think we would have had a different story. We would have had a completely different story. It's just the fact that the major teams are owned by foreign owners and we don't have a say in what we're doing. But if we were fan owned, I don't see us having a problem. If I'm honest with you, I don't see there being a problem. We wouldn't care about the football ladder, and we wouldn't care about the other teams. It's only because our decisions are not in our hands. Exactly what you said, Soom. Our decisions are not in our hands. This is why we're upset. But if it was in our hands, we'd be up for this 100%. Quick question: what about the Carrington protest? Yeah, the Carrington protest was a bit of a weird one. They walked in again. They were let in by all intents and purposes. Again, it was private property. it was private property. Let's be honest. It was private property. Yes, it was a very much peaceful protest from what we know. There doesn't seem to be any videos, not that I've seen anyway. There's a couple of photos, but that's about it. So again, because it wasn't forced entry, maybe it's a different story. But I've got to be consistent here. If in fact it's illegal and it's private property, we can't have that as well. If you're going to do it outside of the entrance to Carrington, which is obviously those who have been to Carrington, it's like a dirt track, off the main road. So outside of there, yeah, maybe. But if you've broken the law again, not for me. Not for me at all. So European Super League is coming. Just was promoted correctly. When it gets promoted correctly, it will be approved. Yeah, 100%. 100%. If you were to do the European Super League, where you might even have a European Super League A and B. So you've got A, you've got B. If you get relegated from A, you go into B. And then if you get relegated from B, you get out of the thing altogether. So you've got the founder teams will probably be, if it was me, this is my idea really. If it was the founder teams, I'd put all the founder teams in A. I'd have another group of teams in B. And then obviously you can get promoted in or out of B. So that way it would take at least 2 seasons for even the worst of the founder clubs to get relegated, which I think is a much more fairer way to do it. If you're going to, obviously my thing with the European Super League is certain clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, they bring in the biggest crowds. They bring in the biggest TV revenue. They should be compensated for that. That's like if you're at your job and you bring in the most money, say you're a car salesman, you sell the most cars. How can your wage be the same as someone who's sold no cars or has sold only one? So I understand the reasoning behind it, because if you've got 2 matches on and you've got Man United versus anyone, or you've got, no disrespect to anyone, any of these teams, Burnley versus Brighton, the Man United game, even if it's against like some 4th division team in the FA Cup, is going to bring in more people. There's just no doubt about it. That's why the BBC, I think, was it like God knows how many years in a row, always used to show Man United FA Cup games, because it gets the biggest viewership. So if you're the Man United, if you're Real Madrid, if you're Barcelona, if you're Liverpool, and your fixture is going to get the most people watching, then you should get paid more. It's as simple as that. There's no harm in that. If you're bringing more to the table, then you should get a bigger piece of the pie. So finally, we should be through to the European final of the Europa League. I always want to say the Champions League. I always have to stop. And I blame you, Man United, for this. But I always want to say the Champions League. But we saw our rivals make their way to the Champions League final last night. So Man City made it there, which was unfortunate to watch. Come on, Chelsea tonight. I really think that Real Madrid aren't going to do it. City are going to pass them to death. I put it on Twitter yesterday that once a Pep Guardiola team gets ahead, they will suck the fun out of any match with their passing. They passed it to death yesterday. And obviously Chelsea having beaten City already, I think that they will be able to do it again. And I hope they do it again. So I will be supporting Chelsea tonight. As for Man United, Donny van der Beek, going back to that, Donny van der Beek has to play. I'd like to see Ahmad get a few minutes, Bailly, etc. I want Pogba, Bruno, Rashford rested. And we should just cruise through that game. Start with players who need the minutes. Just start. And if you think that it's getting a bit ropey, bring on your so-called big guns. No, I've got no qualms about that. But I want to see those people play. But like I said, I did say it was going to be a short video, but it seems to have extended a little bit. But we'll leave it there for now. Thank you for watching. This is the RedFlex. If it's the first time you're watching, please consider subscribing. And obviously we're available on the other things that you can see on the screen on Instagram and on Twitter. It's the one and only channel in the whole world run by 4 Manchester United supporting brothers who all live in Manchester. And again, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.